Hi, this is Linda with Casey Creations by Linda, and I'm going to do a tutorial today for Digi and SVG Designs for You. It is her Whimsical Spring Friends set, and I thought I would show you how I make one of my pages. This is the one we're going to do. It's got a little flip here. It's got this cute little booklet, little magnet. This is an envelope. I'm going to show you how to take an envelope and make it into a flip. And we have an acetate window here that shows our little girl underneath there. It's just a journaling card. We'll go through all that. And as you can see, this is what I have done on my page. Those are other pages I'm doing for the journal. So what I'm going to do is go through the paper. Whatever you choose for your background, you will need 2 images. Now, I took the full 8.5 by 11, cut it down, or resized it on the printer to 8 by 10, and then fit it to page so that it is smaller than the actual journal, which is here, which is 8.5 by 11 folded. So you need 2 pictures of your choice. Here's the envelope that I'm going to use right here. You do need to copy on the back of it, and there is a ton of different back papers that you can pick from. That's our little flip envelope. And our little tag, pick whichever one you would like. That goes underneath the acetate. Here's our little notebook. Again, print it on the opposite side before you cut it out. One page is what comes in the kits, 8.5 by 11. This is lined. I prefer lined. That I backed my cards with. Then another one that we're going to make the journal card with. And these polka dots are the polka dots here for this little flip. And we have our journal page. Needs to be double-sided. And this is paper. The rest is printed on cardstock. But this is just copy paper, and that is to cut out our little journaling spot there. So I'm going to get everything cut out and prepped, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got everything cut out and prepped. I've inked around the edges. I've scored, and I'll go over the scoring for you on how to do it on these pages. These are the 2 identical pages I have. One I've inked around, and we're going to start from the back and work our way out. So we're going to start with our little picture under there, and we're going to make our frame. That's why you need 2 of these, because when we make our frame, we want the frame to complete the image underneath. Rule of thumb is I take, line it up on my mat, and I know that I want that acetate band to be 3 inches. So we're going to, it is 5 inches. So that gives me 1 inch on each side. Put a line here and a line there. Hope that I can see them. And we are going to cut, I think that's my line right there, I hope it is. Then we're going to cut off 1 inch on this side. And I always save my scraps, always. I have a big pile of them from working on the journal. You never know when I need a scrap. Okay, now we got our little image here that's going to go here. Flip it over. And this is just the way I do it. You can do whatever measurements you like. On the long side, I put my ruler at 3/8 of an inch right here. all the way down. Hold it firm, make you a line. Now on the tops and bottoms, I make an inch, a half inch. And 3/8 again. And a half. Now that's what we're going to cut out. So get a craft knife, whatever kind you like. You know how they always say measure twice, cut once? That's why I did my lines, so that when I measure, I can make sure that I did it correctly. And everything is even. So we're going to start right at the half inch there. Cut it all the way down to the half an inch again. Here's the half. Cut it to the other 3/8 inch line. 3/8 again. And a half. Sure, got all the corners. That one needs just a tiny bit. There you go. Save your scraps. Alright, and we've got our little frame. And we're going to put acetate on it, but double check it, make sure everything lines up. It does perfectly. I'm going to ink the inside before we put our acetate on. And I'm a heavy inker. You can ink any way you choose or not at all. Now, our acetate. Turn it over. And I buy acetate by the roll. And we're going to line it up, and we're going to leave a little edge on the top, bottom, and sides. Get a Sharpie. Line there. And at the bottom. Put our little line right there. And it's extra one. We've already got cut out if we want to make another acetate window later on. And we're going to double check it, make sure everything is fine. We're not lapping over. Perfect. This is 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape. Some people call it score tape. We're going to go all the way around the edges with our score tape. Want to make sure not to get over the edge, because it'll be sticky, and when you slide something in, your card will stick to it. So I just kind of run my finger down it, make sure I don't feel anything sticky. And if you do, just trim it off. And if you have any glue on your fingers, the score tape is going to take it off, and you're going to have a big blob. I do that all the time, then I have to take it off. Okay, here we go. Now, little trick. See, there's some ink or glue right there. Just pull it right off. Instead of removing all of it, we're just going to remove the top, the sides. Just push it down so it sticks out. That way we don't have to worry with this entire piece wanting to stick to our paper until we get it lined up perfectly. Put it down, line it up, leave a space down at the bottom. Make sure that none of your tape is in the window or outside of it. Press it down. Then you can remove the long edges and the bottom. There. This is where we're going to put it. We've got our acetate now. Ink around the outside. And you ink around the outside after you put your acetate, because you've just got this little tiny 3/8 of an inch on each side, and it could bend on you, flop around. So with the acetate, it's nice and strong. Now we're going to put glue on the top and on the bottom. Lined up, and we do have some wiggle room because the glue is wet. Start lining it up. Make sure everything in the frame is lined up perfectly. Little carrot, yep, everything's fine. Just give it a nice press. And there's our acetate window. Now, let's take our envelope here. You're going to need to score along all the score lines so it looks like this. We are going to use this tab on the right hand side to hook under here. Now by doing that, we have taken off, because it would normally be like this, which gives you extra room in here. So we're going to have to replace this. What I did, this is just a strip. Any old strip works. And this is about, let's see, 3/4 of an inch wide. We're just going to fold it in half. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Hard press. And we're going to put it on this side of the card to replace the flap. So get it lined up. Put your scissors there. And then we're going to cut the corners at an angle. What this does when you cut them at an angle like that, it takes away some bulk. Plus, it also takes the edge that was here, moves it down a little bit, so when you turn it over here, you're not going to be able to see it. So now we're going to glue this down like so. And I use Aleene's tacky glue. That's my favorite glue. And also I like it because the lid, it sets down so it's always ready to use. You don't have to shake the bottle. On the inside, we're going to put our little tab. lined it right to the edge, but make sure you don't go over. Check it on this side. Scoot it in a little bit. There, now we have replaced it. So now we could fold our bottom in and fold this over. And then we're going to glue it here and on the tab. So, on both tabs. Over. Give it a good press. Make sure your tab closes. Yep, tab closes good. Make sure we're not hanging over. Now, the little tab that we left over here, we're going to put some glue here. Stay away from the edge of the card here. Just as close as you can get without touching, because it will smear a little bit, spread out. Now, placement is wherever you want it. You can put it down here, you can put it in the center. You just make sure that this isn't going to overlap on your top. So let's scoot it down to the bottom, and I push it just as close as I can. Give it a gentle press, and then ease it over. And that is going to allow it, it will wiggle on its own. We see how it moved away there? You can squish it a little bit in if you want, just as long as there's a gap so that it falls. If we get it too close, then it's going to stick up like so. So just let it slide where it wants to. And there's our little flip envelope. Now, on the other side, this is what we just did. Now we're going to do this. There's no magic size. It's whatever size you want to do it. But you do need a double. You need a full piece of cardstock, not double. Excuse me. Now, make sure, because our little card's going to go in there, it needs to be a little bit bigger and a little wider than our card. If you want to do the way I did it, let's see what I made. I did 4 1/8 inch. That's up to you, doesn't matter. And 5 1/4 tall. But it really doesn't matter, it's up to you what size you would like. Just as long as our little guy fits on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to, because we need a tab to wrap around our card, and I'm going to go 3/4 inch. This is the 11 inch. And we're going to fold it in. This will be our tab that hooks onto the card there. So take your card. No, I was going to show you about the folds. If you see, there is little dash lines, 2 of them. There's an 1/8 inch little spine on the card. See it? You put it on your scoreboard, and you put one of these lines where it sticks out. Here's your dip. Then these stick out. If you put that, the center of this, right, let's put it right up against the 3 is here, 3/8 is there, and you can score, because it's 1/8 of an inch. Just score it here, and score it here, and the same. Put one of the little bars right in the center, and you can score it there. So we're going to fold it up. We're going to fold our score lines. We have 2, remember. And always when you fold, make sure that your lines, you've got your score lines properly, and that way the edges will line up. Put that on the top and the bottom. Always do the inside one first. Give it a press. And do the second one. There. Now we know exactly how big it is. So I just usually take it, decide how much border I want, and I try to make my borders equally around the sides. So we'll go there. And we've got about here is where we want our fold line. And about here at the bottom. We're going to cut the whole piece. And then our little line we made, we're going to line that up. There's my little line right there. I use a stylus. Always use the biggest end, not the little tiny one. You don't want to cut through your paper. Or you can use the scoring tool that comes with it. Just press. Place our little mark. Then we're going to fold this over. There's our tab that wraps around. We're going to fold it under. And we're going to put a pencil mark right there. And we're going to cut that off. Keep your scraps. Now, what I do, because I don't like to see white anywhere on my cards, I'm going to ink up that right there. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to change my battery. I'm back. This is where we fold over. Now you have another decision you want to make. You can glue this totally flat. Like so. Or you can glue around the bottom and the side, and that way when you wrap it around, you're going to have a little pocket in here if you wanted to put a card. That's totally up to you. It's preference. Got this all inked. I'm going to glue mine all the way down. Make sure you get where it's folded, where your score line is. You want to make sure you get glue in there. Because if it's going to lift, that's where it'll lift. But we're going to smoosh it down. Okay. Make sure there's no edges. I got just a tiny little bit there. So we'll just trim it off. You probably can't even see it on the camera. You can see just, I mean, we're talking minute, like so. Ink it up if you want. There's several ways of inking. A lot of people go like this. I usually go like that. I'm going to get this one too. And go a little tab. Get our piece. And again, wherever you want to glue it, it's up to you. But if you chose to leave this open and make it a pocket, you want it down so that when you put your card in, it's not hanging off like so. Right, as close as you can get without touching this paper. And I usually take, this is there, so I think I'll put it just about there. Line it right up as snug as you can get. Gently press it just to hold it. Let's gently let it fold over. Give it a press, see how you like it. Yep. And you can press it down hard. Now we've got all our little flaps. You can put them this way, put them this way, whatever you like. Okay, this little piece here that I had on the original, this was just a little scrap. Remember I said save all your scraps? And I've got some scraps here. We can decide what we want. Some little strips even come in the kit. Like here's a little ruler. We could trim it up and use that. These are little jars of chocolate covered eggs. I think I'll do that one. And then I've got this scrap. That's why I save all my scraps. Gives me choices. This one comes in the kit, so we're gonna line it up here. If I can. I'm not going to worry about the ends right now. Okay, we're not going to glue this flat down here and here. We need to make some little folds so that we have room for our little card wherever I put it. And all of this I have going on. This little guy. Somewhere it is. There it is. I found it. There's ours. We just got to make sure this little guy has enough room to slide in and out. Put our little strip there. And we're going to use the scoreboard again. And when you make your own little tabs, don't make them over an inch. I use it 3/8 is usually my go-to. I'm going to fold that in. Measure across here. And when you make a pencil mark, when you want something to fit, don't mark on the outside or the inside. Mark right where it is. Right on top of it. Not alongside of it. That way it cuts down on it being longer than your page. And if you make a mistake, we can always pull it up, cut it off, and fix it. Double check it again. Looks good. Cut off our little tabs. And you do not cut the score line. You cut on this side of it. If I can get a hold of it. There we go. And ink it up. Now, we're only going to put glue on our little tabs. Make sure it's right side up, because it's the little jars. We don't want them standing on their tops. And you can measure if you want. You can just eyeball it, whatever is comfortable with you. Press it down. There. Now we'll let that dry. We've got our little thing here. It's all inked. Again, remember the double score lines, the 1/8 of an inch little spine we have. We're going to take our pocket. It has a little 1/8 of an inch too, so it has 2 little score lines, and so does the bottom. When you fold something, when you've got a bottom, you want the sides to go in first and then the bottom. And see, it makes like a little trough in there. If you do it the other way, then your card, when you slide it down, is going to hit that. It has more of a chance of hitting it. So your sides first, then your bottom. So we're going to make sure that you've got your little spine on each side. You don't want to smush it in too far. And on the bottom also. Now, let me ink this up so you can see it a little bit better. I'll just ink one edge, and then you can see what I'm doing better if you have a line. There you go. See the line there? We're going to move up when we lay our card down. We're going to move up approximately 1/4 of an inch. And we're going to center it side to side. And why we're doing that is because we've got 2 folds and we don't want them to fight each other. Just give it a press down. And there we go. Okay, now our closure. All kinds of closures you can do. You can tie ribbon around it. You can do a magnet. You can do Velcro, whichever you choose. Let's do the magnets, and I'll show you a little trick putting your magnets on. Pull out 2 magnets, and these little magnets came with these little guys. It's the first time I ever had them, a couple years ago when I ordered them. I go, well, how cool is this? And these little circles that you're going to put on there are very strong. So just peel one off. Leave your 2 magnets stuck together. And the best we can line it up, put that little circle there. And if you don't have these, just put some glue on one side. Keep your magnets together. Glue it down on the card where you want it. Let it dry. Then glue the other side and just fold it over and glue it down. But I love these little guys. You keep your magnets put together because it cuts down on the chance of you getting the wrong side to face the other side, because they have a positive and a negative side. 2 positives won't stick. Smush down. And do you want the bottom over the top over the bottom? Doesn't matter, it's up to you. But we're going to put them on the inside. So, like I said, these little things are strong. I usually sit and fiddle trying to get the paper off. Oh, I think we got it there. Yep. I got my little sticky. I'm going to put bottom over top. You see it's a little bit longer, so I'm going to put it just about off the other side. Make sure you don't push it down to the second fold. You're the top fold, no fold sticking out. Same here. Make sure your edges line up and push it down. And there we go. And then you can just fill it with the little cards. I've got mine backed. Got a little guy. And we have a little guy. And you can stuff more in here if you want, because we got the little gussets here to make it. It has more room. This, and that's going to go in our little belly band we made, just like that. Now the other side, you can leave it like this. I just added a little piece of paper, give it a more journaling spot. And I just copied one of the pages on paper. Just going to measure it out, leaving the same border around the edges. Cut it out. Remember, this is just paper. It's just copy paper, because you don't want that extra bulk of a piece of cardstock. Now we've got that. You could tear around the edges if you want. You do you. Just glue it down there. Now this is where I use my glue stick. I do not like glue sticks, but they do have a purpose, and that is when you're working with paper, not cardstock. And you need to make sure that the entire surface is covered. So overlap if you need to, because if you don't, it's going to stick up. That's why I don't like glue sticks. Clean up your mess if you made one, and I always make one. Start at the bottom, kind of hold it up, and then just lay it down, get it straight, and give it a really good press so it's not bumpy. Now we have all our little cards, and I made the little journal card, this, just out of a piece of cardstock, and this comes your printed, your lined one. I'm sorry, I can't talk. And we're going to line it up, give it a little room over there, give it a little room over here. Then we need top to bottom, and we need it to clear, because you've got glue under here, so it's not going to go all the way to the bottom. So rule of thumb, I usually just go about 1/4 of an inch from the end of my frame there. And I will cut off the whole thing all the way across the top, so that now my two pieces are the same size, because I can't fold it over, because if I just folded it, it's way too wide. So we have to cut it down a little bit. So what we're going to do, we're going to flip it over, and our picture is here, so we want to keep that, put it on this side. We're going to glue it all down. picture's over here. So I want the picture on the other side. Just glue it down. If we've got it straight, we shouldn't have anything to trim, but who knows until we look. Now, here's another trick. The glue is wet under here. We just glued it. So when I put this into my trimmer, I'm going to come to about there. Just overlap it the tiniest bit, the blade. And you'll take it, if you start here, it's wet under there. The glue, the two pieces are glued together. It could actually bend your paper. So take your trimmer blade, move it down, start, and come that way. Double check our size, make sure that we're fitting. If not, we'll trim it off a little bit. It's a little bit tight, so let's just trim off a tiny smidgen at the top here, maybe 1/8 of an inch. Another try. Yep, that's much better. And if you want to round the edges, we can do that too. And we'll give it some ink. Like I said, inking is your preference. If you like it, that's great. If you don't do it. Ink light, ink heavy, doesn't matter. This little guy's going to fit right in there. And then we have our other card. Where is it? Here it is. It's going to go in here. And our little card goes in here. It's a little bit tight, so what we're going to do is we're going to trim him up a little bit. I'm just going to take, again, about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to take off. And a little bit off the bottom, about the same. Ink our new cut edges. There it goes. And then you could put a magnet here if you wanted. You could use one of the little circles and just put this right under the circle. But I like my little clips. Let me dig one out here somewhere. There's one. And there you go, my ladies. We made it. Our little page with our cute little folder. All done. And then what you would do, take your journal page, double-sided, fold it squarely in half, ink the edges, and then just glue this entire thing down on your page. And there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, reach out in my store where it says Contact Seller. I'll be glad to answer any questions and help you any way I can. I'll put everything that I used in the description box. Until next time, ladies, stay crafty. Bye-bye.